guys, welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be my Books in the Freezer Readathon wrap up. And let me just start out by saying I failed. Well, I didn't fail completely, but I did not do a great job either. There were a total of 5 categories, and I was going to try to combine 3 books to fit into the 5 because I am a very slow reader. Although this readathon did have 2 weeks to get all 5 challenges done, which I really appreciate. But even with that extra time, I still kind of failed. So anyway, let's get into the books that I did read. I'm going to start out with the first one that I finished. That is Perfect Days by Rafael Montes. This book was one of the books recommended on the podcast. And the author is also a person of color, so that fits 2 of the challenges. This book is about a guy who becomes obsessed with a girl. He kidnaps her, he holds her hostage, he does horrible things. He is one of the worst villains I've ever read. I really hated him. He was a horrible, horrible person. This was the group read that I read along with Cammie's Corner, The Ellie Effect, and Paul reads. We're all supposed to get together October 25th and do a live chat thing about the book. I don't know if I can be involved with that because my internet is so terrible here. I've read quite a few other obsession-based books, and based off of the other books that I've read, I don't like this one nearly as much. And I also feel like there were some things in this book that were taken, like specifically taken from other books about stalkers, and I don't really know how I feel about that. Specifically Misery by Stephen King, You by Carolyn Kepnes, and The Collector by John Fowles. There were things from all 3 of those books in here. So yeah, it wasn't very original. Absolutely hated the villain. He was the worst. Oh, I could not stand that guy. And the ending had me enraged. So it did cause a lot of emotion, it caused a lot of feels, but I wasn't in love with the story. So I'm just going to give it a 2.5 stars out of 5. Hopefully the other people reading this along in our group enjoyed it more than I did. If you like stalker stories, you probably will like this one. I'm just a bigger fan of some other ones, so that kind of put this one further down on the list for me. I'm going to take a little drink break. Let me just say, I've had a pretty rough day. For no particular reason. It's just one of those days, and so it's not even 5 o'clock. I think it's 4:30, but you know what? I'm drinking anyway. This is the Pumpkin Ale by Sam Adams, and it's pretty dang good. So after Perfect Days, I picked up Lore, Mysterious, Monstrous Creatures by Aaron Mahnke, and I only read half of this, and here's why. So apparently all of the stories in this book are the same stories that are on the podcast. So if you listen to the Lore podcast, you already know these stories. And I didn't realize that when I got the book. I thought they would be different stories. So I did go through and picked out a couple of these and read through them, and they're enjoyable. Lore podcast is outstanding. But for me, I think I prefer actually listening to the podcast than reading it because Aaron Mahnke does a great job at storytelling, and I just like listening to him talk. So yeah, there's 2 other books out after this one, and I don't think I'm gonna pick them up just because I love the podcast so much. I'll just continue listening to the podcast. And also they're the same as the TV show episodes. Oh, I forgot to mention, this was my book to movie adaptation, although that's kind of a cheat because it's a TV show, not a movie. But yeah, it's the same as the podcast and the TV show, so it wasn't really necessary to read this book. After Lore, I picked up Dark Tales by Shirley Jackson. This was the Woman Author and the Short Story Collection challenge. Shirley Jackson's writing is fantastic. The stories are pretty short. I was able to read a story or 2 every night when I was cooking dinner. That's how short they are. So if you don't have a whole lot of time and you just, want to kill a couple minutes, this is perfect. All of the stories in here reminded me of Twilight Zone episodes, so none of them were truly scary. I wouldn't really rate it as horror, but it definitely was creepy bizarre, weird, that sort of thing. So yeah, I love this and I would give it 5 out of 5 stars. I was also planning on listening to Pet Sematary on Audible. That could have been another book to movie adaptation, but my Audible credit wasn't available until October 14th, which was too late for me to listen to for the readathon. I am listening to that one right now though, and I will add my thoughts for that one in for an October wrap-up. I'll do another video talking about the just random books that I read through October now for a readathon, and I also need to put together a Spooktober TBR because I plan on participating in that one as well. If you guys did the Books in the Freezer readathon, let me know how you did down below. Did you do great? Did you fail? I was like, I did okay. Wasn't my best. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a great week, and I will see y'all soon. Bye.